Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah, here we are at AFTERBUZZ TV. I am Kaori Takee, and with me I've got a very, very, very special guest. You probably know him. His name is Walter E. Jones.
Walter E. Jones is in the house. What's up?
Not much. I'm very pleased to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So I met Walter at Kamikaze last year.
Yes.
And you've been traveling a lot, going to a lot of cons. So
Man, we've been very, very busy. It's amazing because our fan base has grown up now, and they have kids of their own, and we're in high demand. I mean, I've been going everywhere. Last year I was in London. I went to Australia.
Wow.
I've been to Cancun. I've just been bouncing around.
That's amazing. What's been your favorite part of going to cons so far?
You know what? This is what amazes me is the stories that we hear from people. Like, we have no idea how we've affected people's lives. I mean, as far as I know, I'm an actor. I was in a TV show. The show was a hit.
What TV show was this?
Oh, well, the show that was such a big hit was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
All right.
Yes.
But you're the original Black Power
OG.
Ranger.
So I re-originated the
known.
show. Yes, exactly. Let it be known. The OG is in the house. Yeah, but I mean, it amazes me the stories we hear because people say all the time, you motivated me to be this in my life, whether it be a Marine or an engineer or a teacher or a martial artist or a dancer or just to have a diversified friendships. You know, it's crazy. You know, I love it. It feels like a blessing to me.
What con are you going to next?
I'm going to Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah, that's Lexicon. It's actually this weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. There's going to be a lot of us there. So,
you mean like a huge Power Ranger reunion?
It's kind of like that, exactly. We got a whole crew of Power Rangers that are going to be there from the original cast and voiceover actors and so forth. So it's going to be great.
Who do you guys usually travel? Who do you usually travel with? The originals or just?
Typically, I travel with David Yost, the original Blue Ranger, Austin St. John, the original Red Ranger. Occasionally, I'm coupled up with Jason David Frank, the Green and White Ranger, and Kimberly, who was Amy Jo Johnson.
Yeah.
Amy Jo Johnson. She doesn't do these very often, but she's come out once or twice. So it's always great to see each other again. It's like we have this, we share this thing that's bigger than us, and to be in each other's company just is something that's comforting because we're like, you know exactly what I feel, you know? So it's amazing.
So I take it you guys are obviously keeping in touch and everything.
Yeah, we keep in touch. I mean, it's been 21 years, which is crazy.
Wow, 21 years.
Yeah, that's a long time, right? A long time, and it's like having an old friend, you know?
Well, you haven't aged a day.
I got a gray hair over here. I plucked it. I think I got it.
What's your secret? How do you maintain this?
You know what? People ask me that, and I say it's cocoa butter and positivity.
You do seem like a very positive person.
I am. I believe that, my mother gave me the philosophy of cup half full, and I've lived that way. It's that and counting my blessings, because every day, no matter if it's your worst day or whatever, somebody else is having a much worse day. I mean,
it's true.
When you can wake up and go, I can stand up and walk, or I can get out of bed, or I can breathe, or I have a family of some sort, or, I am loved somewhere, then, that's something to be grateful for.
So what does a typical day look like for you?
A typical day, it depends on the day. It depends on if it's often I'm traveling on the weekends, if I'm home on the weekdays and I'm auditioning, I'm taking care of my family. I have 2 kids. I'm, doing voiceover work or something, or I'm at home catching up on my favorite TV shows.
What are your favorite TV shows right now?
You know what? I love a number of shows. I love, like, I find that I'm drawn to, like, HBO and Showtime and those type of shows. But I love, like, House of Lies. I love Shameless and The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
of course, right? Game of Thrones. That's a big hit. I love that show. Blacklist. I love that show. I'm a TV addict, I think, a little bit. Between TV and movies, I'm in the business of acting, and I love seeing, actors do great jobs.
So we've got to talk a lot about Power Rangers because obviously this is so exciting for me. In terms of TV shows, do you watch WWE or UFC?
Do I watch what?
WWE or UFC?
WWE or UFC. I watch UFC.
UFC. So
Yes.
you're familiar with the Green Ranger, Tommy?
Oh, yeah.
Well, how do you feel about him wanting to fight CM Punk?
You know what? I'm sure it'd be a very interesting fight. Who knows who will walk away the winner? I don't know. I think I gotta give the Green Ranger an edge.
Of course.
It's my boy. You know what I'm saying? So I think it would be something that people would find very interesting. I would be really intrigued to see him. To see him really take on somebody that was really much more talented, as far as like somebody that's a true contender that's really doing well. Because I believe he's got great skills, and I would love to see him really display what he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. But it's an ongoing debate.
It's been ongoing. It's controversial, so it's kind of cool.
And that's extra cool that he was once a Power Ranger. So
Yeah.
So you were the Black Power Ranger, Zack Taylor.
That's right. I was the Black Power Ranger, Zack Taylor. It's funny because sometimes people say they meet me and their friends go, "Hey, oh yeah, this is the Black Ranger," and I go, "Really? What suit were you in?" And I'm like, okay, I like that. I was
What was your favorite suit? Yours, obviously.
Mine. Come on, I love the Black Ranger suit. I mean, it's just, but there's that slight confusion everybody wants to talk about. You were the Black Ranger and the black guy in the black suit. Was that controversial? Was it weird? And
People ask that?
They do. They go, was that prejudice? And I'm like, okay, first and foremost, I was a superhero. I was a role model for millions of kids around the world. And so it can be prejudice because I was a hero, but stereotypical, maybe a little bit.
Well, I mean, the Yellow Ranger was Asian.
She was, not originally. She was originally Latin in the pilot that we did. Because when we all got cast, we did the pilot, and the Yellow Ranger, Audrey Dubois, was Latina.
Oh.
And, so I was the only one that was just so happened to be, of color and the black suit. And then she asked for more money and was fired. So
well, there you go.
Yeah. And so then they brought, they had an audition, and Thuy Trang, who ended up being the Yellow Ranger, was just the most suited. I mean, she blended in with what we were so well, because she had this spiritual, like yin yang type of vibe to herself, which was something that we didn't have, and it was perfect. It just happens to be that she was in a yellow costume. But if she was going to be yellow or pink, she was never going to be pink.
Well, also props, too, because the Japanese version, the Yellow Ranger was originally a dude.
A dude, exactly.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he was wearing a skirt, which was weird.
Well, it's Japan, That's how we do.
You never know. You just don't know.
Well, rest in peace for her.
Yes. She's missed.
She was one of the first Asian American ladies to actually come into the entertainment industry, so she really paved the way there. So
she did, and she was aware of the fact and was proud of it, and really believed in and being a good role model. I mean, we were very good friends. And I got to give props to the original cast of Power Rangers, because we started with that philosophy. We accepted the responsibility of being role models and wanting to be as positive to the fandom, to the children out there, and being inspirational to them. And I think we've maintained that over 21 years. It's like, we've maintained a face of people that people can be proud of.
Well, has there ever been any challenges in being a role model? Or were there ever moments where you just wanted to say, forget this?
Well, I mean, obviously you grow, and we're adults, and we have adult lives, and we make adult mistakes, and things like that happen, or we get put in adult situations, and you have to deal with them. And so
Can you elaborate on what's an adult situation?
Well, you could you could be somewhere like at a nightclub and you could be challenged by a guy and end up in a fight. And, I'm a martial artist. I'm a black belt in hip-hop keto. I mean, not hip-hop keto. That was Zack.
That would be
right? I'm a black belt in hip keto. And if I have to put my hands on somebody, it's very likely I'm going to hurt them. And that would be publicized as something that was negative, even if I was just defending myself.
Have you ever used the line, "Do you know who I am?"
I don't usually have to. Usually there's somebody around me that goes, "Dude, do you know who this guy is?" And so it's like, it's all good. I don't have to. And I have been in situations where, somebody's, inebriated and just acting stupid, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the look in my face says it all. I mean, I think the fact that I'm usually calm and I'm like, "Hey man, just chill out, why don't you back up?" But my body posture is one that's like, I'm ready.
Right.
And there's my face is not one of fear. So it's like people usually kind of look at me like, yeah, something's wrong. Okay.
But you seem to have a very sweet, friendly face.
I have a sweet face, but there's a demeanor change. I mean, as you saw in the Power Rangers, when I decide I want to be heroic, when I'm stepping up to the cause, there's an energy shift. I'm not smiling at that point.
Right.
So,
yeah. So how did you land the gig of Zack Taylor?
It was an audition like all other auditions. It was I had an agent, and I was out here in Los Angeles trying to make my way as an actor, entertainer, and I was working actually Universal Studios doing a number of shows. I was in the Wild West stunt show. Okay. I was in the Beetlejuice Graveyard Review as Wolfie.
Those were a lot of fun.
Yeah, right?
I remember all those.
And I was a dancing mouse. I was 5'0". I was one of
No way.
I was in American Tail, the dancing
show. You were 5'0".
I was not 5'0", but I was one of the mice in costume dancing. Probably the worst job I ever had because it was exhausting and it was very little pay. And
I bet it was hot too.
Oh my goodness, it was horrible. It was like, after we do a show, we go back, we take off the heads, and everybody just got in front of the fan like, just dripping water, and it was hardcore. But so I got a call from my agent and said, "Hey, we got this show, an audition for a TV show. They want you to be a superhero, and you have to be able to dance and do martial arts and gymnastics, and kind of create your own."
So you can do salsa, but were you a martial artist before as well?
Yeah, I grew up in Detroit, and I studied Ishinryu karate as a kid because I had been bullied a little bit, and my parents were like, "Okay, yeah." My cousin was a martial artist, and so they were like encouraged my mom, "Well, put him in martial arts," and and they put me in martial arts, and it changed my life because once you know how to hurt someone, you don't want to. But you have the confidence to know that you can. So it's easier to walk away from a fight or somebody being a bully or somebody's like, "Come on, let's go." And I'm like, "Well, throw a punch." And they won't throw a punch because they're like, "No, you throw a punch." I'm like, "Get out of here." And I walk away. Now I don't look like a punk because I was like, "Well, step up." And they didn't step up, so I walked away. Yeah. Because I was a martial artist and I'm trained not to throw the first punch. But if somebody throws a punch, then I can defend myself and it's on a cracking. Okay. So I studied martial arts as a kid. I was the Pee Wee Michigan State champion.
Oh, so, Pee Wee.
Pee Wee. Yeah. Never say that again.
Pee Wee, sorry.
Pee Wee, she did it.
And you also, finish your audition story first.
Oh, so, the audition. Back to the audition. So they called me in. Unfortunately, I was doing Star Search at the time. I was traveling to Florida, and I was like, "I'm on a plane. I can't go. I'm on the way to Florida. I can't." And they were like, "Okay." I was disappointed that I missed the opportunity. When I got back in town, they called me again and said they still want to see you.
Wow.
So I went in, and they had seen 800 people for the part, and I just happened to have the skill set. I was an actor. I had my degree in musical theater. I've been studying acting. I was already an entertainer, so I got the whole thing. And then I would dance hip hop, martial arts. I learned these gymnastics that I used, and putting it all together was just a process that worked, and it was ideal for me.
Well, it's literally a role of a lifetime.
Yes,
it really is.
Yes, it was. It was. I mean, it's funny because when I booked it, and then we did the pilot, and we looked at the pilot, it was like, okay. this show is interesting, right? And then I took it home to my family in Detroit, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, that's cute. That's a nice stepping stone, right?" And I was like,
Really?
"Yeah." Everybody was kind of like, "Oh, okay,
gosh.
that's cool," you know. And I was like, "Well, we're gonna do 40 episodes." I mean, the pilot was the pilot. The original pilot, see, because we redid the pilot again, right?
Yeah.
So
That's right. The original pilot never aired.
the lost episode,
Yeah.
right? It never aired.
Yeah.
So it was a little cheesy, like, you know. And then when we redid it, it actually came together much nicer, and the chemistry of everybody. It was like it had been fine tuned, and so you know, as the show progressed and went on, we all found our niche. We found our character, and it became this chemistry that was awesome, you know.
Yeah,
so,
obviously.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
work well. So the opposite of cheesy, did you happen to see the dark fan-made film?
I did.
What did you think of that?
I was very entertained.
Yeah?
I'll say that. I mean, I thought, you know, I was impressed with this because the budget behind it was one that they had great effects. You know, I mean, it was like
Really good.
It looked really
They got
interesting.
big actors too.
Big actors, great effects. I mean, there were concepts within it that I thought were really cool. I mean, like Gichi Gumba, who plays Zack, he had the fight scene and he goes this morphin time and he takes his helmet and he throws it at a guy, bounces off of him and lands on his head and it's there. I was like, that's the bomb. I was like, I want to be able to do that, you know, like instead of being like click, click, let me take this mug off. It was like just boom, now I'm on, let's go.
I'm sure if all 5 of you wanted to do that, they would not be against
You
it.
know
And
what?
6. I
Yes,
guess.
exactly, right? And there's possibilities. Hopefully, I know
Yeah.
they're doing a reboot, and
Yes.
I'm hoping that they will have the sensibilities to at least have us do a cameo of some sort. I know it's a reboot.
That's
so,
what I wanted to ask. Like, do you have any
You know,
insight
there's
on that?
nothing that's been contracted yet.
But you would love to be there.
I would. I mean,
think everyone would.
obviously, well, the show has been a non-union show. This is going to be one of the first things that they do that is actually union, which is
Yeah.
professional, like I've been for the last 20 years, and that I could do. I've been invited to do other things, but it's non-union, and I can't leave my union to go and do something that's
Right.
non-union without it being, you know, something that's really worth my while because it's a thing, you know, it's like a lot.
But you can do this if
I could
you
do
wanted
that.
to.
I could do this easily, and I'd be very happy to. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I know the fans want to see it. I know that every time I talk to the fans, they're like, "Are you going to be in it?" And I'm like,
I know we all want to know.
I would love to be in it. And but
Do you know if it's gonna? Well, do you know anything about it at all? Do you know if it's gonna be a little campier or is it gonna be darker?
I think it might have a more serious note. I think it
Yeah.
might be more in the vein of like a PG, like, you know, Transformers, you know.
a PG over a G.
Yeah, right. PG over G, right? So, and that's an exciting possibility. I think that's actually where we should be. I mean, because we do have grown fans and we do have children that are fans, and something that can cater to both without being too dark or that implies that we are into things that we're not into at all. You
Yeah.
know? We don't want to inspire anything that's negative. So, you know, we're anti-drugs, we're anti-violence.
Well, you guys are
really.
role models.
Yeah, we're role models.
Yeah.
So we don't want to be like, hey kids, snort some coke. You know,
Yeah.
we don't do that. That's not what Rangers
No.
do, right? So that, you know, that's not something that we would want to have and something that we want to be involved with. But this film that they did, I thought it was an experiment with just how dark could it go? How bad could it be? And, you know, could they all turn on each other and it could be this dark and nasty? And it was intriguing. But, you know, I didn't think it was right for our most of our fan base. Obviously, we have some fans that are like, you know, in their 30s. We got guys that are
Yep.
like, yeah, all right.
That's how I felt. I was really excited. Oh, this is it's like they grew up with us.
Right,
You know, they became
right.
tainted as they
Exactly,
got older with us.
exactly.
You know? So it was kind of nice to see that
we,
twist.
we could be less tainted.
You're obviously not tainted.
I'm not tainted. I mean, like I said, I'm a grown man. I'm
are.
a grown man.
Yeah.
But, you know, I am, I can still be a spiritual person, and I can still be a person that has values. And I think that's who we all are.
Yeah. So after Power Rangers, you went on to do a lot of different various shows,
Mm-hmm.
but you do a lot of voice acting.
I do a lot of voice acting. Yeah.
So do you enjoy voice acting, and because I've seen that you do video games as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that video game voice acting is a little different.
It is. I haven't done a lot of video games. I've done a few. I do mostly television and film, and I actually do a lot of loop group stuff, which is post-production work. So, if I'll put it like this: if you watch any scene that happens in a club, for instance, a club, and the camera's talking to the specific people, is following the people that are there, and they're like, "Hey, let's do it," or whatever. Where's Sally at? Whatever, and then, so all that has to be heard. Because those are the primary actors and their dialogue has to be heard. So all the extras in the background, they're dancing and going, hey, let's do a shot or whatever. Right. They're not saying anything.
Oh, they're not?
They're just they're just moving.
Strange.
So we add all the voices to the background. We create the atmosphere that they're in. So it might be a group of 16 people, and we do it over and over and over again until it fills up the room and it sounds like, so we're doing all these different characters. We peep out certain people that are behind the camera. So there's somebody behind the camera having a conversation with a girl going, right? And so we have to give that character a voice and conversation that's, intriguing, but not so intriguing that it steals the focus from the actual actors. So I do a lot of that, and I've done it for lots of big shows. Some of the movies that I worked on that are coming out soon are Get Hard with Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart, which is very funny.
That one looks funny.
It's going to be really funny. And
so did you see this one already?
I saw some of it, not all of it. I we did lots of different scenes within it, and so we get a really good taste of what it's going to be. Also, Insurgent, the sequel to Divergent.
What do you do there?
I did, we did different stuff. Different stuff. See?
Now it's like, wow.
And now it's exciting. I got the inside scoop, kind of. Also, Liam Neeson's new movie, Run Out of Time, worked on that, and then TV shows, everything from Girls to The Affair to different things. So there's lots of work to be had. It's kind of a small community of actors that work in that, and I'm fortunate to be part of that. So
I actually watched a documentary on voices.
Yes,
and it was actually really interesting because there's so many different aspects of that no one even thinks about.
Right.
So now you have another talent, which is obviously voice acting.
Yes.
And you do salsa. You teach too, right?
I teach salsa. I'm not doing it as much as I used to because I've decided to use my time in a better way that's gonna be a little more. I love teaching salsa. I love giving the gift to dance, but I should be doing some other things like creating content, which is gonna boost my career more, which is what I want to do. Be more financially viable.
Yeah.
And I did that for a number of years, and it was a lot of fun. And it was kind of like, as an actor, a lot of actors have side gigs. A lot of actors are waiters. I've never been a waiter, but I was a salsa teacher, so that was awesome for me.
Have you ever taught martial arts?
I taught a little bit. When I was studying Hapkido, I would often, stand in for the teacher and run the class kind of thing. But I haven't done it as a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as an actor, you've done various roles, obviously, Power Rangers. I think you were on Malba Shores.
Yeah, Aaron Spelling, yep. Malibu Shores.
The Shield. I watched Malibu Shores.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
You're one of the very few people I've heard that watched the show.
It was short-lived, and I was like, why did it go away?
It was a great concept, right? With Randy Spelling, Jacob Vargas, Essen Atkins, Charisma Carpenter, all these great actors.
What's Kerry Russell in there,
Yeah, Kerry Russell, she's the star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, great actors, a great group of people to be involved with. I thought, it was a really good concept, and it's Aaron Spelling. I think the problem with it was we had such a horrible time slot. It was on like Fridays at 10 o'clock, and it was catered to a teenage audience. So it's like, if you're a teenager, who's going to be at home on Friday at 10 o'clock? Because you got to be back home at 11, right? She was like, I'm home by myself. Watching, my friends are hanging out. I'm here.
That is what happened.
Yeah.
And you were on The Shield as well.
The Shield, which was an amazing experience. We won a Golden Globe and an Emmy in the course of the time that I was on the show.
That's awesome.
That was awesome, yeah.
So obviously versatile roles. What do you think was the most fun? What kind of role do you see yourself?
You know what? I like playing bad guys.
You do?
It's kind of interesting. It's like, as a bad guy, playing a bad character, you get to do all the stuff you always thought about doing, but you would never do.
There goes your positivity.
There it goes. But it's creative. It's in a creative form. I'm like,
That's true.
well, I get to be a bad guy. All the things that I could think about, like being and that you would never do. You're like, I mean, it's like, I wish I could just punch that guy in the face. And you're like, you would never do it. But the thought runs through your head, but as a bad guy, you're like, I wish, damn. Like, and it's done. You're like, I did it. That felt good. Yeah. So that's, and it's acting. So you're not really hurting anybody. It's just, for the audience.
Sometimes you can hurt somebody, right?
On camera?
On camera.
Oh, it's happened as a mistake, but not. In fact, I worked with Michael Chiklis. There was a scene because Mike, we were confrontational a lot. So, and he's a great guy, great actor. I mean, right before every scene or most of the scenes, he's singing songs. We're jamming. We're all singing together. Hey, ready, action! And then we're back in it. It's like all of a sudden we're like, oh, these characters, and we have this conflict and. There was a couple of times where he had to throw me in a chair and intimidate me. And he threw me in a chair and he came and sat down and threw his knee into my lap, like it had to hit me in the in the privates. And he did a couple of times. It was like, oh Mike.
He did that a couple times.
Yeah, it was like, okay, let's do that again. I was like, can we not do that one again? Gosh. And so after that we had this scene where he's throwing me off a roof. And I know, okay, he gave me a little bit to play with, so I actually feel some, scared. So I was be scared of him, intimidated. And we were shooting the scene on the roof, and they did the master shot, and I had this cable running from my a safety wire up my pants, and I was connected to the roof, right? So he's hanging me off the top of this roof, like 5 stories up or whatever, and I'm scared. I have a fear of heights, and I'm like, okay, and
understandable.
He's but I'm hooked, so I feel confident that I'm okay. And then they said, okay, for the close up, can we get rid of the wire because we wanna do it. We don't want it to show. And I was like,
so
okay.
And you were like, fine.
I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at him like, all right, Mike. Like, look, if I go, you go, because I'm just saying. And I remember him, holding me and so the camera couldn't see it. I had his belt buckle, and I'm like, I'm saying, if I go, you go. So I will hold on to you. You are my anchor, but it was an intense scene, and I thought it was so well done. And what a great guy. It was amazing work with him.
Is there any big old bloopers that you can mention in behind the scenes during Power Rangers filming?
Oh, big old bloopers. Well, besides, passing gas and and stupid stuff like that.
That's not a blooper. That's natural.
It's natural, but it's like, who did that? We're in the suits. We're like, dude, that's bad.
Oh my God.
Okay. Or stuff like, we would always play this game. Well, as the guys, were this testosterone, so we're like,
sure,
we're like doing we're martial artists. We got testosterone, and we're challenging each other, and we're also, we're improving each other too. It's as martial artists, we'd all had something else to teach each other. Like Jason David Frank had a certain skill set. Austin St. John had a certain skill set. I had a certain skill set. So, we were improving each other and giving each other things to do. So this is Pak Sao Lap Sao, with Jason or Jason David Frank. These are my tornado kicks. And so we're trying it and stuff. And this is the 1-inch punch. It goes like this. It goes through the body, you punch, and you can knock somebody back 2 feet. Just like from the fingers. Bruce Lee made it, very popular. And so I learned to do that, and we would challenge each other. We were like, all right, 1-inch punch, ready? And so we're, before take, all right, 1-inch punch, ready? Stay there. And you're like, oh, okay, that was good.
Oh, that's cute.
We're like, that was good. All right, ready, action.
That sounds like completely what dudes do anyway.
Oh man, it was fun. It was awesome. Because we, like I said, we challenged each other and we made each other better.
Yeah. You probably still do, since you guys hang out all the time.
We do. Except for now we're men, so it's
boys to men.
Yeah, exactly. Boys to men. ABC DVD.
There you go. So you told me you would love to be a bad boy or bad guy.
Did I say that?
Kind of. That's what I heard.
I enjoy that when I have the opportunity. Right. Yeah.
But who would be your dream person to play with?
Oh.
Act with.
There you go, because I'm looking at you.
I'm like, wait, that sounds...
I'm thinking, I would love to act with, to work with some of the actors I really admire. Like, obviously, you got to look at, oh God, I just blanked. Oh my God.
Uh-oh. Obviously, who? I don't know.
My brain just went.
I'm not in your brain.
I know, you're like, oh my gosh.
I mean, we can go back to it.
Well, Oscar winners, like Jamie Foxx was awesome, and I know Jamie Foxx. He's an amazing actor, and he does a lot of amazing things, which is cool. And then Denzel Washington.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I was okay. That's not working for me.
That's a worthy actor right
there.
there.
Denzel Washington. I mean, he improved the game for everybody. I mean, like he just he showed a lot of people, him and Danny Glover and Sam Jackson. Those guys are, they paved the way for a lot of people. Obviously, Sidney Poitier started the whole thing. Sidney Poitier with Billy D. Williams, people that I've met that I think are incredible, and I'm grateful too for paving the way for me, who I feel like I paved the way for other people. So it's cool.
You're mentioning actors that people go see the movie just because they're in it.
Absolutely.
That's how good they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I would love to work with some of those actors and be challenged to be at the same caliber.
Do you have any advice for upcoming entertainers that want to be or aspire to be where you are today?
I always say this when people talk about acting and the desire to act, I tell them that they should do it because they love it and not because they want to be rich or famous, because rich and famous come and go. I mean, there's a lot of people that you've seen grow up and do, a big TV show, and it's like they were, amazing, and then you never see them work again. So
there's a price to pay too.
There's a price to pay, right?
Yeah.
And wealth comes and goes. People are rich and then they blow it, and or you may never get either of those. You may never get rich. You may never get famous. And so if you are doing it because you love it, then you're doing it for the right reasons, and you won't be dissatisfied.
Do you think that nowadays with YouTube and the internet, it's a lot easier and accessible for everyone to kind of have their own piece of the pie?
Yeah. I think there's absolutely a way now. I mean, there's so many more theaters of content where you can actually take your own stuff and create your own thing and then put it out there for people to see. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't, and whether or not it makes you a whole bunch of money. I mean, there's a lot of people that are internet sensations and gain fame that way. And that can be both good and bad. So
who are some of your internet personalities that you like?
Oh, wow.
Other than me.
And other than you, right? You know what? I Perez Hilton, that dude, he cracks me up. He's funny and just everywhere. The guys from TMZ, those guys, I see them all the time, and I get stopped every now and then, and I'm always surprised, like, oh, okay, I know you. Okay, so it's cool. I'm bad with names, so I'm not going to mention any others, but fine. Obviously there's you. So.
Do you have any other hobbies that you do that no one would ever know you do or enjoy?
Well, hobbies. I do a little. I'm an adventurer, so I do a little bit of everything. Most recently, my one of my last adventures, and I did it with Austin St. John and
cool.
and Manu Bennett and a number of Victor. Forget his last name, but we
you
went.
Are bad with names.
I'm bad with names, but we went and we went cage diving with great white sharks recently.
Oh, that's awesome! Where at?
And we did it in Australia. We were in.
Really?
We did Supernova, which is a Comic-Con out there.
Yeah.
And in between, we said, all right, we're going to go cage diving. Austin started it. He was like, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but not really believing he was going to really seek it out. And we got there and he was like, okay, so I found out where we could do it. And I was like, okay.
So it didn't scare you at all. You're just like, let's
You
just
know
go
what?
for it.
It's intimidating, but then we went out with it's controlled. It's a controlled environment. So, we went out with 30 people in a boat. They went in 5 at a time. For 55 minutes a shot. We were like the 5th group to go in. So we seen people come and go, get in and get out. We see the sharks around the boat and nobody's getting hurt. So you go, okay. The group before us, there was a guy with his 10-year-old son. At that point, I don't think I'm going to have a problem. I'm like, okay, I can get in here and do my thing and see it. But when the shark goes by, you have your hands on the bars and inside holding yourself still, and there's a gap in the bar like this. And the shark goes by, you can actually reach out and touch it, but you're like this.
Well, are you allowed to reach out and touch it?
No, it's they're endangered species, so you're not allowed to. It's against the rules, and they got cameras to make sure that you don't. If you do, you get taken out, your trip's over, but...
you probably wouldn't want to anyway, right?
No, and this is the reason why, is because the sharks attack. And see, I didn't realize, I always thought sharks just came at you like this, but sometimes they go past you and they reach back and grab you, and their bodies are so strong that they have this whip, they go, oh, right? And so if they grab you and they whip back around, they just tore everything off. It's like, wow.
That's
It's the equivalent of watching a Volkswagen Beetle like just bite at you and take you and drive off. It's crazy. The most intimidating thing I thought, well, two intimidating things I saw during that adventure is they got about 15 feet away and they disappear. You don't see them anymore.
Just 15 feet away?
About 15 feet away. I mean, I don't know if it's the colors that made them blend in with the ocean because the water was fairly clear.
Oh my gosh.
But I watched the shark go past a point and watch his body disappear. And I was like, that thing is way too big for me not to be able to see it.
Yeah.
And then it comes back and you're like, there it is, but it was weird. I was like, wow. And then the other thing is sometimes the sharks will get frustrated because they're going after the chum, but they don't get it. They don't feed the sharks. They just kind of taunt them to come and get it. And then they miss it because they don't want them to become dependent on that for their food source. But, they come around, they circle, and then sometimes they go low, they go beneath everything, and they come up from the bottom, and they come up so fast, and they just come up and smack the target.
That sounds
they breach
thrilling.
the water and they come
Yeah.
back down. You're like, that was like a torpedo coming out of the water.
I totally want to do that someday.
It's
I totally
so
want to.
awesome.
So I was obviously Googling you and researching you, and everyone was talking about this missing middle finger. I guess you can never use any physical profanity, which is nice.
Oh, there's always this, and there's lots of ways.
That's true.
It's all good.
What happened, basically?
I lost my middle finger when I was a kid. It's funny because people it's become a thing on the net. Hey, he's missing a finger. I'm like, okay, it's not new news. I lost it when I was 4, and some people thought that when I was doing the show, I was hiding it, and I was never. It was hiding. It's just people don't notice it.
Yeah,
I've
I
known
never
people, years, and they still don't know, and they're like, and they find out, and they go, oh my God, what happened to your finger? And I always kind of play it like.
I kind of feel like if internet wasn't so big, no one would still notice. I wouldn't have known.
Occasionally, people notice it.
Except when you show your shark movement.
Yeah, you're like, hey,
wait a
shark
minute.
movement. Like, yeah. No, I lost it when I was a kid. There was an accident in my home. There was a gun in the house, and I found it and thought it was a toy. I grew up in Detroit.
Okay.
And thought it was a toy. It was, after me and my sister trying to shoot each other with it, I took it from her, and she ran and told my mom on me and go, Walter took the gun from me. And my mother went, what gun? And I pulled back the hammer, and pow, it shot my finger off. And it didn't shoot it off and like run through the air, but it shattered the bone and left it kind of dangling. And
that's
4 years
traumatic.
old, you're like, I'm always gonna remember this day. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I learned not to play with guns. And I encourage other kids to know that you shouldn't play with guns and you stay as far away from them as you can. And parents to say, make sure that if you have a gun in the house, make sure you teach your children what it is and how to handle it and, what and what not to do so that they are aware. Because I thought it was like a toy. I thought it was a cap gun. It was like a Dillinger. So it's like a small gun with 2 bullets, that you see in the Wild West where they throw out of the sleeve, right?
Yeah.
Detroit's not a place where it's uncommon to have a gun in the home.
It's a kind of ignorant question, but is it legal in Detroit to carry guns?
No.
In the household?
Well, you can get a gun legally, but most people
It's not like
them.
Texas.
No.
Well, you're going to be going soon.
Yeah, exactly. And whether it's legal, no, it's not uncommon for people to have a gun in Detroit. In fact, New Year's, the part of the celebration is everybody goes outside and they shoot their guns in the air.
Do you participate in this?
I have.
Okay.
At a point, during my teenage days, we had a gun in the house, and I was like, all right, it's New Year's, boom, boom, kind of thing.
That's scary.
It is, because the bullets have to come down somewhere, right?
Right.
Yeah. I never heard of anyone being shot from a fallen bullet, or never saw a hole in anybody's roof from a fallen bullet, but I don't know. Maybe they disappear.
Are you and your crew? I know you guys are going to a lot of cons. Are you guys also going to Comic-Con?
Comic-Con in San Diego?
Yes.
I believe so. Yes, I've been there for the last 4 years.
So you probably will be going, especially now that the Power Ranger reboot is coming along.
Right.
Yeah, it's you guys. It's a perfect time for you guys to cash in.
Yeah. Well, last year I actually I was there, and they premiered a new toy for me. So they have.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, I had the Black Ranger, and one episode wore the Golden Shield, which is usually worn by Jason David Frank's character, and so they developed a small doll, with the Black Shield.
Yeah.
So it was a one of a kind thing and limited, but it was really cool.
Do you keep all your various figurines of the Black Ranger at home?
I have a few, but most have been given to me because they were never like the toy companies never gave me any. Like when we were working on the show, we didn't get any of our toys, which is crazy because they were very hard to get. Right? It was like people were waiting. It was all in the news. People were waiting in lines to get the Power Ranger toy, and they can't get it. And
I wonder how that made you feel.
Crazy. Well, it was awesome, but we didn't have them either, and they didn't give them to us, which was odd.
I actually have the Yellow Ranger Trini with her signature on it.
Oh, you have it with her signature?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I never met her, but for my birthday, my parents went through loopholes to find it. And I was like, oh.
That is awesome. That's a nice piece of history.
Yeah, it really is. So, what else I was going to ask you? Oh, when's the last time you got into your Power Ranger suit?
Oh my gosh! Well, my actual Power Ranger suit, I would have to be when one of the last episodes I shot.
So it's been a very long time.
I did have a suit made for me.
Okay.
And I was considering doing some photo ops with it, and that hasn't happened. But I think I will be doing some updated pictures, with a suit on.
You should, with the whole crew, too.
Yeah, exactly. That would be, I don't know if that's going to happen. But who knows? The 25th anniversary is coming up, like in 3 more years.
You just passed 20 years.
Yeah, well, we're like 22 years
Oh,
now.
my
It's
goodness.
Crazy.
Time
flies by, right? It's like, 20 years, 21, 22. Oh, my gosh, really?
Yeah.
So, who knows? It could happen.
And do your kids, you said you have 2 children?
I do.
Are they aware of your legacy?
It's hard for them not to be because I'm out with them and people come up to me and go, "Oh my God, dude, I love your show.
They do.
I'm a fan, and can I get an autograph?" And at first they're like, my kids are like, "What? He's just my dad. What are you talking about?" And then eventually they got it. They saw the show and they're like, "Oh," and it's not a big deal to them. They're like, "Oh yeah, my dad's a Power Ranger."
And if your kids wanted to get into acting, would you be behind that?
My son is an actor.
Okay.
He's been working since he was 2 months old. Cute. He's had 12 nationals and has done a number of television shows, including talk shows. So he's done very well for himself and continues to do well. Is up for a few pilots right now.
Oh, good for him.
So I'm very proud of him. And my daughter the bug didn't bite her. So she's like, I do my own thing and I'm happy. I'm just a girl and I like being a girl and that's fine.
I'm a girl. I like being a girl.
Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
she's like, I want to do my things. I want to play with my dolls and, play with my friends. And I'm not really interested. But I think, she may be coming around to going, in fact, maybe I do want to do it. She's got quite the personality. So.
Oh, I'm sure she got it from her father.
Well, she's father and mom. So you got to get props from both.
Yeah.
So.
So where can people find you in the upcoming months?
Like I said, I if you check out those films I mentioned, you won't see me, but you might see my name in the credits and you know that I was there. Yeah, I was there, right? Exactly. Outside of that, like I said, I'm working on producing some things. I'm looking to do a television show. It's kind of based on dance, kind of a. I don't know if I should talk about the concept here, but
you can talk about it, can you?
You can talk about it, right? It's kind of like an Anthony Bourdain of dance type thing.
So it's like dancing in strange places.
Kind of, yeah.
I'm trying to get
dancing
there,
in strange places, like in strange places with strange people with strange culture and fashion, and I wouldn't say strange, but intriguing. Like,
that's a good word.
And dance is so powerful. It's like it changes the lives of people. When I teach salsa, I know there's a guy named Bob that I taught, and he started dancing in his later years. He's probably like 65 or so, and when he first came to the club, he was bent over, kind of hunched over, and he was, moving slow and he was doing the moves. And now here it is like 10 years later, and Bob's like 75. He's got on a hat. He's got 2 girls on each arm, and he's walking in like, "Hey, what's up, what?" I'm like, wow, dude, your whole life changed. It's awesome,
great.
And he doesn't have to do much. He's just happy to be in a social atmosphere with happy people and enjoying the gift of dance.
Yeah. I wish I could have kept on dancing. I did ballet for a little bit and then I just stopped.
You got to do partner dancing. That's what changes everything, because then you are part of something that's creative with two people. It's not just you being creative. It's like you are collaborating with someone else and doing something spontaneous and creating.
If the Dancing with the Stars producers came over and said, look, we want you to be partnered up and in the next season, would you go for it?
I would. I would love to be on that show. I would. I think, and the opportunity may be coming around soon because more. I mean, I'm not a professional. I'm not a ballroom dancer. There's a lot of dances that I don't know, but I have danced a lot of other dances.
They do salsa and other dances.
They do salsa, but they also do like tango, and I don't know anything about tango. They do foxtrot. I don't know anything about foxtrot. It would be challenging, right? You know, I know salsa, street salsa, which is something I've been doing for years, and you know, I would love to be on the show. I think it would be great.
I think people would love to see you. That would probably bring ratings up.
Yeah, let them know. Be like, we want to see Walter Jones and Dance with the Stars.
I love that. So do you watch that show? Because I watch it.
I do watch it. I know Alfonso Ribeiro put it down on that show, right?
He did.
He was good. He did a great job. So, and I've seen a number of the people that surprised me, you know, like Bill Nye, the science guy. He did good. He did good. You know, it was like, that was completely unexpected, you know. So, I think it's a great show. I think it features celebrities in a way that you haven't seen them, and I would love to be part of that.
Hopefully we'll see you there.
Hopefully so.
So, well, thank you so much for coming by.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. And go ahead and plug your Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff.
Okay.
Over here.
Yo, check me out. Find me at Walter E. Jones on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and Tumblr. Walter E. Jones. That's where you can find me. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, and you can find me at KAORIOUS on Twitter as well as Instagram. You can catch the whole AfterBuzz family here at AfterBuzz TV. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys very, very soon for some more ABTV.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.